معكم اسبو هنا، واخيرا وبعد اكثر من 1300 ماتش وصلنا لنهائي بطولة اوفرواتش ليج. سيناترا اقوى لاعب دومفيست، ودومفيست يعتبر اهم شخصية في الميتا الجديد، وتشوي هيوبين يعتبر اقوى لاعب سيجما. راح تشوفوا طريقة لعبهم واتمنى تستمتعوا. يلا ما نطول عليكم اكثر، انجوي.
The Vancouver Titans! Khāsā! One of the most epic matchups in Overwatch League's history. Are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, the Overwatch League Grand Finals starts right now.
Specifically, the Doomfist players.
Yeah, I mean, you have Sinatra, the league MVP against Hacksaw, our rookie of the year this season. They're going to be playing Doomfist, and Doomfist right now in this meta, he's able to go in, get those one-shot rocket punch kills, and take players out with ease. And I think you're going to have to see either of these players for their respective teams have a great match today. If they don't, their teams are really going to...
He is involved in so many of these fights. Remember, this is a first-to-4 series. We begin on Lijiang Tower.
So they're just going to teleport their teams out of the spawn to save that speed boost that'll come through. Does Twilight play the Brigitte here? This would be an interesting call, as we have not seen Brigitte really get
rid of
in the playoffs. Right away, seeing the Brig, that tells me Vancouver is a little bit scared of Sinatra's Doomfist coming in.
Sinatra has to play a bit safer here, but the kills have come out early. It's a trade. Sinatra getting rid of Hacksaw, most importantly.
Gets rid of Slime.
Control points getting messy. Sinatra late fight. Kills are coming. And that is exactly how you want to start this series. A bold statement from the star of the shock.
And it's also good for Sinatra to get off to a good start. And we were laughing when he walked on stage, like his first thing when he saw the crowd and everybody going crazy, he was like, wow, he's kind of taken back a little bit. So,
oh, it's beautiful. You can't ask for much more than that, Matt.
But Mitch, you don't see Brigitte getting played a ton in the hero that Twilight's playing, because there's not enough healing output really with Slime and Twilight together to keep everybody up, especially when, you know, Reaper's barreling down on you. You have two pretty big beefy tanks. So you take a look at this replay from Sinatra's POV. Uses the Meteor Strike to stay alive. He gets stunned, but a good halt that comes in from Smurf gets him to 3 kills.
Perfect setup there. One of the many ways to make sure Meteor Strike is good. Gravitic Flux now thrown into the back line, and a coalescence, but Tizzy is out before the fight begins, and you know it's already done. San Francisco on a map that is good for Vancouver historically. Started a big lead. It's 55-0.
And like we mentioned, Vancouver has not lost a control map throughout the playoffs thus far.
Not one, not the first map anyway.
Yeah, the first map, yeah. So seeing the shock kind of dominate right here like this, it's definitely got to be scary for the Titans. Now Twilight changes over to Moira. This is a better comp, and Hacksaw gets a first pick.
Better start. Rising uppercut finds purchase on Sinatra, so it's a sound barrier for the shock. They're going to make it costly for Vancouver here. Supercharger from Smurf is removed. Hacksaw descends on it with Meteor Strike, and an accretion will claim Choi Yobin. Matt, the Titans are using a lot of ultimates in this fight, but they have to win here.
I mean, they have to. If you lose this fight, San Francisco would take our first point here on control, which for the map, you have to accrue 100% on each point. You would get a point, so it's 1st to 2 here in control. But now you'll be able to come back if you're San Francisco. You'll have a coalescence, you'll have that Meteor Strike again, and you're going to play around Shoyova. Maybe you can just hang around, poke, get a Gravitic Flux, because there's no sound barrier on the other side to prevent that from doing tons of damage.
No hurry, but it's going to be a coalescence here from Twilight to begin. Janu with the kinetic grasp to eat up any stray projectiles. Here's the Gravitic Flux in the backside, but Hacksaw, he's already down. Can Janu save this fight for the Titans? It doesn't look good at all. San Francisco bounce back, and Sinatra doubles down. The cleanup crew has arrived, and San Francisco on the precipice have taken this first round. 96 and counting, the Vancouver Titans, Matt, will have to desperately throw themselves into touch.
Yeah, you're gonna get a touch here from Janu on the wrecking ball. This is just stall right now, as Choyobin does have this gravitic flux to use to try and put it away.
Haxal's down, a lot of damage missing. Seoul Min Soo's gonna get dropped, but he goes into the Wraith Walk to avoid the damage. Choyobin won't let him get away though. Tizzy charges on in, but he forgot the horse he rode in on clearly. He won't get away. Choyobin gets 3, and San Francisco look good early here. Supercharger, just for celebration. Round 1, San Francisco. Very important, especially if you're playing on a control map. Out of the gates again we go here to night markets.
Yeah, now the Titans come out with a standard setup with the Moira. We talked about how they were running Brigitte for a lot of that first point. It just did not work out. Sinatra, he's been spotted, so he's gonna have to go back out to the point with the rest of the team. So the Shock taking control of the point here first. It'll unlock in 10 seconds, so not able to take it right away. Vancouver's gonna get aggressive, coming right around the corner.
Violet goes very low, forced to fade early in the fight. And even Choyobin needs to hide behind the wall for the time being. Smurf to step up to the plate, but Vancouver look a little bit early here. Get rid of Sinatra to start the fight, and there it is from Haxal. A freebie in the air as he goes for the melee. Vancouver look much sharper in the early damage trade, Matt.
You see waves of bye to Violet as he flies off the side, as that'll be the Titans taking that first point. You can see the effect of Doomfist, and whichever one of these players gets the best of the opposing team today could be the one matchup that decides this, as Haxal's able to get in, connect with 3 players, get a little cheeky with the waves there, gets hit with a rock by Choyobin.
Lucky was able to still get out with rising uppercut, but here come the dueling coalescences. Choyobin's off in the corner, he's a little bit low, he's gonna force the meteor strike from Haxal. Oh! What? Incredible! It's all by his own hand. And that's the Berserker at work.
Yeah, and you can see this from Haxal's POV. So goes in with the punch. They know they have to operate through this small choke, and look at that halt there from Tizzy. Oh man, what a meteor strike.
San Francisco will be smiling from that one, but there's a game to play. Here they push now. Gravitic Flux going to be thrown to the back line, but Sinatra gets Seoul Min Soo early on. He's looking for Slime. He'll have him too. Face to face with Tizzy. Very durable. He is sent sky high. But the Titans are already limited in numbers. They can only stall and nothing more, but a great early start for Vancouver. 65-0.
A lot of percentage for Vancouver here at the beginning, but the Shock take this back and they don't have to use any ultimates really. You know, they're able to hold on to a lot of them.
Sinatra, baby.
No, he gets that first pick off, and now you're gonna have at least 4 ultimates for this next fight. You should be able to hold on through this next fight attempt here from the Titans.
This is gonna be a tough one. Vancouver wanna get back in that driver's seat. Striker starts close. The Titans respond to the Gravitic Flux now. It's going to be dueling Death Blossoms, but Seoul Min Soo's bloomed at just the right time. Sinatra cut down after the fact, and the Titans get through, but both teams spent ultimates to win.
Yeah, 4 ultimates invested there by San Francisco. They needed to because they need to hold on to that point, try and catch up, but not able to hold on. The big difference is Slime has that sound barrier. Seoul Min Soo and Striker both use Death Blossom at the same time. Seoul Min Soo a little bit more toughed up with that sound barrier shields.
Coalescence is through, mutual knockdown between Doomfists. Both are able to get out to safety for now. Seoul Min Soo plays around the statue, doesn't want to expose himself, but Tizzy got caught out. The pivot point for the Titans has been dispensed with, and now the Shock are menacing towards the point. Janu hit, that's a big punch, and Sinatra finds the kill. The Titans are close to winning the round though, so the Shock had to win this fight. They take the point back, but now their margin of error, it's very slim, Matt.
And you see Sinatra able to go into the back line, and you know, they ran the Brig earlier, which is great against flankers, but it's really Janu's job with those accretions, that Sigma ultimate that can connect with that stun. Right now, Choyobin's sitting at 10 stuns to Janu's 4, so you see Janu really struggling handing these accretions down onto Sinatra.
Gravitic Flux though, can he make the difference here? He's waiting for the sound barrier to decay a little bit, and now he lets it down. Oh, Meteor Strike's definitely going to confirm the kill on Moth. Haxal made sure of that. Now the Shock are very split up, and it's looking dangerous for them here. Sound barrier from Slime late in the fight. Sinatra trying to stay safe, but he's going to get pushed. Nice punch.
They want to fight
the kill with the Coalescence.
What?
The Shock have no choice but to fight this. They've got to hold on to the point now. Seoul Min Soo's able to get away with the Coalescence from Violet firing off. A brief pause, a moment of respite. But the Titans are ready to reclaim what was theirs. Back to the point, Sinatra is airborne. Striker to the high ground. Death Blossom is available. He's going to go for it. It doesn't work out, but they still get the 1-for-1 trade. Twilight has gone down. A lot of healing missing now from the Titans, and Sinatra is there to make hay while the sun shines. Straight on in. There's the seismic slam. This isn't looking good at all for Vancouver.
All they have is Slime. Slime's going to have to get on the point.
Slime gets on in there, keeps the round going. The rest of the Titans in hot pursuit. They're not far away, but they've lost their Lucio player. Some stall here. Tizzy and Janu are on the scene. Sinatra doesn't connect the rocket punch, but he'll wait for Tizzy. Not much he can do with Reinhardt. So Minsu, he didn't do any better. Joik over to the high ground now. He's going to lay the flux down. They've lost Striker, but still with 5 players. The Shocker favored here. And a sound barrier will really make things easier. Overtime, still being kept alive here. Slime tries to throw himself once more, but it ain't even close to enough. A map 1 victory for San Francisco is an ill.
It provides a lot of roll through teams if they run the bar. Just get aggressive. So,
oh, okay. That's quite the greeting, and accretion is lobbed in their direction.
So an offensive Bastion here, potentially, for Architect. So Bastion is really good when you get control of the payload. You'd have to take the point, then unlock the payload's potential to make it work, but they're pushing the Titans back with just the amount of damage that Bastion could lay down.
Well, Minsu may have got himself a little bit caught out of position there. Architect is trying to reave through the barriers, but there are just too many right now. Here's the reposition. Architect being protected by Trick Open for the most part, and the Titans are playing cat and mouse. Trying to get away from them, and Minsu gets a little bit too close to the sun, and his wings are clipped. Rascal wants to try and push into the hunting lodge, but he took a bit too much damage early and has to play back. They've lost Haksal as well, though, Matthew. The Titans have no damage dealers in the fight currently. That can't be a good sign.
And, you know, one of the biggest wins for the Shock on control was Choyobin's play as see him land an accretion there on a Tizzy towards the end, but there's some of the people here, some of the people at home, like, why isn't Haksal and Somitsu going in that backline being so effective? It's because every time they go in, Choyobin's there landing one of those accretions, a big stun. They're able to take those players out. That's the Shock taking the point with ease.
San Francisco bring a composition we just don't often see on this map. The Bastion and the May combined is why Rascal and Architect add so much depth to this roster. 6% of team fights, only 6%, but the Shock have been all about it, man.
And, you know, the other team that was really about it too is NYXL. This will be the Ant Matrix plus Nano Boost. They sent Violet up, almost give him a better line of sight here.
Oh, he puts him up on the wall. That's where Architect wants to be. Put me in the watchtower, I'm ready. Immortality Field is thrown down, so Architect cannot be felled currently. And the Titans are trying to play a close game. They're trying to gum them up with the Shock. They're a snowplow, and the Titans are scattered.
And the Titans take that close fight because they want the Shock to invest, use ultimates. The Shock, they don't really fall for that. I mean, they use just 2, the Ant Matrix, and they end up using their Nano Boost, but they hold on to everything else. Blizzard, Supercharger, Gravitic Flux. The Titans, because these fights have gone so fast, you can see at the top of the screen, they're not really working with much.
Minsu is the one that has to try and push the payload proper. But Architect and Smurf are causing problems on the high ground. The Titans can't perch up there, it's too dangerous. Here comes the Blizzard. A Gravitic Flux also thrown out, and Janu is lifted aloft and frozen solid in place. The nastiest combo from the Shock and the Titans, Matt. They can't do anything about it. They have to back up once more.
The payload's just still moving as well. Like, the whole time it's going on, Smurf drops his Supercharger, just bounces on out, goes over to the payload, and this will be at checkpoint B coming up shortly here for the Shock.
He got caught out, hit by an accretion early on. He was trying to use a Gravitic Flux, Matt, but he couldn't.
And well, they know they need to make something happen. If you don't dislodge the Bastion from the cart, you're going to see this. I mean, just mowing players down.
This is not happening. The Vancouver Titans look to be outclassed early here on this defense. And already, the final stage of the map is unlocked. Into the castle we go.
And now you have both another Nano Boost and another Ant Matrix to drop for this Bastion. You'd love to take this fight around the corner, like I mentioned again, for the Titans to stop the payload progress, but you're going to be walking into so much damage that the Bastion puts down.
Architect just splits off from Smurf and Rascal, so this is essentially 2 separate threats from the Shock that have to be answered by the Titans, and that's a sleep dart connection from Violet. That's going to force a sound barrier to come out from the Titans now, but it's not going to be enough to keep Slime alive, and Haksal didn't fare much better. Solminsu in the Blizzard, perhaps he can get something done here. He's given that nano boost as well. Twilight, after giving his gift to the Reaper,
and he gets
is cut down. Another big sleep dart from Violet, and Solminsu makes an undignified exit from play.
Well, you're looking to see the Titans bounce back after that control map. That ain't happening now, as I mean the shock, they look so good. That'll be Haxel falling there early, as you're gonna be able to round this corner. Another Bastion ult, another Orisa ult, that'll be the supercharge looking to put it away.
Rascal pushed forward early, was forced to use the ice block. Good sleep dart onto Architect, that shuts down a lot of damage here, but there's still a Blizzard in play, and Tizzy got on the wrong side of it. Solminsu will wait in the wings here. He needs to make a huge play right now. He needs to break the deadlock, but Architect is a trapeze artist, and he's ready for Solminsu. What a rocket! And now he sits up here. Who's gonna stop Architect now, Matt?
Nobody. Spoiler alert, as he is up on the high ground. That'll be Twilight who lands a sleep dart, but Mitch, they just have to trickle out of the spawn, try and prevent the inevitable here.
Slime hanging on for dear life, and I mean that literally in this case. Dizzy trying to get away, but the Wrecking Ball's not durable enough for an Architect. Happy as Larry on the high ground. Gets boosted up into the roof briefly by a wall, but San Francisco at 2 minutes.
Sky, and if the Titans try and put pressure onto this Bastion, because the way you want to move, you want to get the Bastion moving, right? When he's stationary in turret form, that's when he does the most damage. If you can force him to move around off of this high ground, that's when you can make something happen. The issue is you won't be able to just ignore this Pharah in the sky, because Pharah puts down a ton of damage. You see Moth there on Mercy with that damage boost.
Twilight almost got taken out there before he could even approach. The Titans are trying to access the top room of the Hunting Lodge through this corridor, and it's not a bad approach, but they think better of it. Rascal's in a great spot, and that's a perfect knock on Tizzy. He's knocked away from his own barrier, takes a bunch of early damage. Rascal still needs to mess up these Titans players as they approach, but Architect's in a good spot. It's a trait. They've lost Smurf. They've lost that main shield. They're going to have to rely on Trick Opens for the time being. Until now, Moth brings Smurf back up. Rascal still well positioned to reign, and I mean it when I say it, on the parade of the Titans.
Yes, he's getting very close to a rocket barrage. There's still a few members of the Titans lingering inside of here, so you don't have a res right now as well. So they're going to go right into trying to put some pressure, but that's going to be the rocket barrage trying to save San Francisco.
But San Francisco were not ready for that aggressive push to the high ground. It's lucky that they even have Rascal there for the damage, but it may not be enough. The Titans spawn much closer to the point, and so the cap begins.
It's not. I mean, it looks awesome, but it's just not enough to keep the shock in it. It was a 2K.
They're going to go for it,
barrage, but
no, they're back out.
No, they're backing out. Yeah, they are not backing. They're not going back in. Maybe if they had the Lucio, they would have went in, but no Lucio, you don't have the speed boost to go and fight that.
As Bren would say, man's backing. 4:48 on the clock here, and the Titans didn't even have to cycle through these big ultimates to win that fight. This bodes well. They have these ultimates ready for this next fight. They're going to have to use them soon, though, as Solminsu quickly is cut.
And this is what the Titans would have liked to do on their defense, is get a early pickoff and then play at the gate here. The payload won't push over through the gate. It'll just stay here, as this is the furthest back it can go right now. As see Vancouver, they'll go up into the choke. It's going to be Blizzard. Choyoven eats it up.
Haxel, no Blizzard. Solminsu has to step up in his stead, and he does. Knocked to the ground early, but the damage was there, and the shock could not hold up in that heat.
Well, you had nothing else. I mean, you eat the Blizzard, which is fantastic, but you don't have anything to use here for the shock on defense. We're just trying to buy some time as Moth now changes. Oh, he's going to go to Batiste here. So they're going to play the Batiste with the Ana. They're going to go back to the Bastion setup.
Solminsu will entrench himself on the high ground here. Give him a fantastic vantage point to teleport in and get to the dirty work. You can see every time he gets the first elimination, Vancouver win the fight.
This is so interesting from the shock as you play this Bastion out in the open space on the bridge. How do you attack this for the Titans?
Jana was trying to wrap around and put pressure on Trick Open Shield. They want to push forward now. Gravitic Flux. What goes up must come down. With the shock are still hanging in there. Immortality Field thrown in, and Jana's trying to cut down as much of this damage as he can, but he's sent skyward now as well. Looking worse for wear, but still standing. The Titans break through. And Trick Open and Co are forced back. Vancouver come alive.
That'll be a point B take for the Titans. So The Shock set a tremendous time. Vancouver looking to beat it here is we'll have Sominsu with a Death Blossom coming up. Hacksaw puts down a nice shot into Architect. That jumped him up in terms of Blizzard percentage here. So Sominsu just trying to find an angle, trying to use his teleport to get behind.
In he goes. The Shock. None the wiser. He's going to get up behind them now. Open quickly turns his head, but they've already lost Moth. The Immortality Field is offline for San Francisco. And that get out of jail free card has gone bye-bye. Sominsu's back, baby, and he means it. But Architect catches him out. He was hit by an accretion. And so the Shock will maintain their perch, and they are behind in time. The Titans have been quicker on this map so far.
And that's where you see the effect of Choyobin is, Violet actually tries to hit a sleep dart onto Sominsu and he teleports before, and he doesn't hit it. So if Choyobin doesn't land that accretion on the high ground, would have been pretty devastating as maybe Sominsu's able to make something happen. But how do you Blizzard this? They're just going to set up on the high ground. What is the play here for the Titans?
Right now, nothing. Amplification matrix used by the Shock. The Titans, if they just poke their heads out for a moment, they will lose them. Rascal looks like he's on flank duty now, trying to make sure that Janu just can't walk up and hit their Bastion. Eventually the Titans are going to have to commit though. Okay, wall forced out of Rascal.
It's like a defensive wall pretty much to prevent anybody from flanking on in.
Smurfs down though. Sominsu has a nano boost. Okay, the Blizzard's going to zone out, but it weren't ready for him. He flanked around. Sominsu coming from multiple different angles, finally unraveling the defensive hold for the Shock. And 2 minutes 50 are on the clock. The Titans are going to get to the end of the map. Smurf on the high ground. There is 2 seconds separating these two teams on the attack. That's what you call evenly matched.
Shock on defense with this Bastion again. Sominsu on the Widow. Maybe see if he can just get a shot on a Rascal in the sky, then he'll switch. So doesn't even take the shot, goes over to Reaper.
Still on the Ana pick here for Twilight. They spot Rascal. He needs to keep his head down. Twilight definitely has the range to put pressure on Farah. And he needs to heal like crazy. Right now, he is clicking his teammates like no other. A lot of early damage. Rascal is already halfway towards that barrage. He's going to have it even earlier this time around. Twilight is actually split from his team, interestingly.
He wants to play a little bit off to the side to be able to get
found.
All the healing in, but he's the main healer here.
Oh my
the Bionic Grenade in the sky. What?
He keeps himself alive and gets the 1-for-1. Talk about going above and beyond the Call of Duty. Fantastic stuff from Twilight, but the real fight has just gotten underway. Rascal is still in the sky, and the barrage now will announce his entry. Tizzy is removed, and the Titans may have to regroup here. They are stuck in this underground area. Choikobin might be their only way out, though, and they are pushing him. Nice dodge on the accretion. Sominsu's able to avoid it with Wraith Walk, but that is his escape used now.
So many players alive here for the Shock, but the Titans, they come back on in. Janu's over on the Diva now as he wants a little bit more mobility, get back into the fight, but he's going to have to just jump off the side. This is not winnable here for the Titans, so Janu probably switches on back here for this next fight. You're not going to play the Diva. What the Titans ran into here is, from Twilight's POV, this is fantastic, right? Able to land that Bionic Grenade onto the wall and take out Rascal. But
he knows the wall's right there. He can use the AoE splash from the grenade.
Right, but he is the main healer for this team. So when he's trying to fight the Pharah, they don't have enough healing to run into the Bastion setup.
That halt slows the Titans down. They are yoinked back, but they're not ready for Sominsu. Once more, he stuck his way in, but this time he's discovered before he can make a dent. He's going to get the nano boost now. I'm pretty sure San Francisco know he's coming. Choikobin goes for the kinetic grasp to try and stave off the early salvo of damage from the Hellfire shotguns, but it might be go time here. Sominsu, Immortality Field down, and here comes the spin, but he only gets himself 1. Rascal's going to come in from the sky, and he gets himself 3. Another one here would be huge, but Moth brings Architect back into the fight, and Rascal is dominant!
What a play from Rascal. He's up to 45 limbs and 18 final blows on this map as you can hear the music coming. The Titans, 15 seconds left to make a play on the point.
You think that sounds ominous? Wait till you hear the Shock on the attacking side. The Titans have to find an answer, and they need it now. Brains Trust online. Janu gets across the gap, but look at how split they are, Matt. This is perfect for Rascal to find kills. Hacksal's down. Architect's on top of the wall, but he looks happy. Clearly no dragon coming for him. Choikobin on point, and Twilight gets sniped out of the back line. That's gotta hurt.
For the Shock Immortality Field as well.
The Titans still going with this Moira and Ana combination, so 3 different supports on the field. It'll be up to Moth to deploy that immortality field to keep Architect standing. Again, this is what we saw earlier on. How much space can the Titans afford to give up here though, Matt?
Not a lot. I mean, you want to stop this Bastion from getting in, forcing you into a weird spot playing on the point.
Look at Solminsu up the top. He can drop back in here now, get an assassination. If he gets out alive, it's all gravy. But an immortality field got thrown down here. The Shocker just bunkering down.
It's the right call for the Titans, also a scary one. If they were to lose a fight here, they lose the map.
That was disgusting! The Bionic Grenade from Twilight, and now it's lights out for the Shock. They couldn't heal through it at all. Yes, they had immortality, but they couldn't get the health back.
They're still fighting it.
Slime got caught out a little bit there. That's dangerous stuff. Huxal is in trouble. Coalescence. He's still standing for now, and Architect has been carved out by Solminsu. It's time to get aggressive, but Huxal maybe bit off a little bit more than he could chew. Immortality field thrown in once more by Moth, and that keeps Smurf alive. The Shock reposition, but Solminsu has to spring into action now. He needs to get rid of Choi Hyobin, but the kinetic grasp blocks the damage.
But with the Titans losing players, they have to back out. They cannot fight that because offense, you'll have that spawner advantage. So now we're going to get to see a fight on the point.
Nano boost, Solminsu, it's time to shine. He has to make the play. He has to bail the Titans out. But he doesn't get any value out of it. It keeps him alive, sure, but he doesn't get to benefit from the damage boost. Rascal's trying to play on the side. He's also low. Janu keeping him honest.
Shockdog got through the choke. That's the hardest part.
Architect stunned up briefly as a blizzard on the point. The coalescence, it can't keep Architect alive. Moth also frozen solid. The Titans, they hold their ground. And there's 53 seconds for the Shock to get this tick. Solminsu tries to push up, and we actually had the blizzard from Rascal. Can he catch anyone with this?
Supercharger is well here for the Shock, as they're kind of going all in. They're just trying to pick up some kills.
The
Give
Shock,
themselves a player advantage.
is there nerve breaking? They go for the blizzard, no one gets caught in it. Rascal tries to go 1-to-1 against Haxal, but doesn't have the backup. And Architect is now down, he switches to the Doomfist. Matt, the Shock are running out of time.
Yeah, I mean, Moth sitting at 10%, he's gonna go over to Mercy. So you go Pharah Mercy here, Architect will play the Doomfist. So chance to always connect with a quick kill. But it's really Choyobin's Gravitic Flux, the only ultimate here for the Shock.
This has got to be it for the Shock. Let's hope they make the right answer. They go in. Choyobin eats up most of that damage with the kinetic grasp and gets plenty of shield to boot. Solminsu takes a step back. 5 seconds left in the round now. Gravitic Flux knocks him up. Jana goes down. The drop is also there. Twilight falls. Now it's going to be Slime left on the point, but they're going to be chased on down. Rascal doubles back to get rid of Tizzy. No loose ends, he says. We tie it up.
And that is the Shock taking map number 2 here as they get to the point.
Heading to halftime with the lead. We'll be back. Able to shine. Winning match record in the Overwatch League at 19 wins. The Shock set the longest unbeaten map win record at 28-0. Got it right there. Both of these teams have set records of their own, but now it's time to set them straight. The Shock on the defense, they play nothing crazy here. It is going to be Doomfist and Reaper head-to-head.
You know, the Shock, they just probably decide to go on defense first because here on Anubis, we do see some full hold. So if you can get a full hold, set the pace, it's way easier, I think, at least in my opinion, on Assault to know where the goalpost is, so to speak, know where your end zone is, where you have to go. Do you need a map completion? Do you need a point? Very different style of play, knowing that.
The Vancouver Titans need a kill right now, though. They want to start the fight off at a player advantage. Huxal will be the one that is searching. Choyobin gets taken low, and Sinatra also looks a bit bruised right now. Here's the opening. Huxal goes in, but Violet is the first to fall, and the Titans now have control of the high ground. Transitioning to the point.
So much damage early on from the Titans as they're able to get to the point. That'll be 3 kills for the Titans. Solminsu on the Reaper cleaning him up. So this should be a point A take for Vancouver relatively instantly.
Matt, that looked quite clean, very calculated from the Titans. They just take the high ground position. They get the Doomfist to jump in and out. Huxal's able to stay alive, and they get the pick on the Moira. The most part of the healing for San Francisco went down first.
And before that, Huxal actually gets a punch on a Sinatra that knocks him from the bridge to the lower ground. as Doomfist to get back up. He has to blow through all of his cooldowns, so they didn't have Sinatra in that fight.
Coalescence from both Moiris here, but it's Janu this time is the first casualty in this fight. And Twilight, you can see how he turns away. He already knows the fight's over. San Francisco will try and chase these kills, and Sinatra is as bloodthirsty as they come. The Shock will get destabilized here, but the Titans have a very healthy time bank to work with.
But you know, in the meta we are in right now, where you can get these chokes, close quarter scenarios really dominate with the Reaper and the Doom. You know, Anubis, you can see how the map's kind of designed, right? Just 3 lanes here, all really narrow chokes. The Shock can take a lot of these fights aggressively. They have a defensive spawn advantage now. You see a lot of teams be able to pull off holes.
They're trying to start the fight first, the Shock. Gravitic Flux thrown out. That trades for the sound barrier. The Titans now no longer have any support ultimates in this fight. Sinatra drops in, comes out with a fist. He was knocked away to win this fight. But Haksal is down. The Titans have lost their Doom Fist and their main initiation. But Sinatra is left free to roam in the backlines. But it's Mob, in fact, who opens up the account. Sinatra's there, though, and late in the fight. There's nothing you want more than a Doom Fist, Matt, just to pick up those final kills.
And you will trade losing your Reaper like the Shock did for getting the Doom Fist on the other side. In this type of setup, your Doom Fist is really your initiator, your disruptor. And then the Reaper, you just kind of teleport him in.
Sneak in the
everybody's
back.
Distracted, right? And he sneaks in through the back and he's able to clean up some kills. So as long as you have your Doom Fist alive, like the Shock had there, they didn't have Striker up, you're still in a really good spot.
San Francisco traded their Gravitic Flux for the Titans sound barrier. Looks like it paid off for them in that fight. Much easier for Sinatra to find those kills, and there it is, an early pick-off. He wasn't even that far forward. It was just the Shock pushed them. Striker now going to finish the fight with the Death Blossom. Did they even need that?
Probably not. But I think if you're the Shock, you know,
Easy come, easy go, right?
Put it away. And you see they're doing such a great job at focusing Haksal down. He has not been able to go on a rampage on the Doomfist, because I think if you're the Shock, you probably watched a lot of the Titans games, and they were close, and Haksal is going crazy, winning them these games. I don't want to say single-handedly, but he was coming up clutch, that if you could shut him down today, you had a fantastic chance of winning.
Sinatra again. Matt, you're a prophet. He found the enemy Doomfist to begin the fight with, and Striker now can sneak in while Sinatra is causing so much distraction and find the kills. Janu gets an exit kill, but that's all it's going to be here. Striker thought about chasing them down, but the Titans are a little bit quiet the last couple of minutes. Keep an eye on the check marks at the top of your screen, though. They are building up some key ultimates, and this next fight will likely see many of them used.
I mean, great time bank at the start of this for the Titans, but you can see here on Anubis how defense, you can keep it going. Already 2 minutes off the clock.
Gravitic Flux used. Both teams go for that one. No casualties as a result of them, and both use their coalescences. Sinatra tries to turn around quick 180. He doesn't get the finish on Sol Minsu, but he forces him to back away to his own team. Slime gets another sound barrier, but Mock has 1-2. They've already lost Striker, though. San Francisco are going to have to double down on this fight because they're going to lose it if they're not careful. They push out the left side room, and Sinatra finds a kill on Haksal. He has to trade his life for it, though, and that leaves Sol Minsu left to cut down these big tanks. The Shocker on the back foot here.
But you can see they're going to have a close defensive spawn as we have Death Blossom that comes in from Somansu, just trying to zone some players out as get Striker to use Wraith Board to go back to the spawn.
Sinatra charges in, almost suicidal, and he is cut down by Twilight and Tizzy combining. 2 ticks now. The Shock need to respond as quickly as they can. Moth trying to get to the point now. The Wrecking Ball drops in at Smurf. He's on the scene, and he's attracting a lot of attention, but Striker was still not able to sneak in. Haksal was alert. He managed to get rid of the Doomfist before the fight could really begin. And here comes the Coalescence from Violet off towards the side. Haksal's done much of the work already now. It's just the finishing touches. Gravitic Flux gonna get hit on the Titans as well. Haksal in midair, but Janu's found 2. With Violet getting finished off, that will get the job done on the Titans. They find the killer edge, and they finish the round with 1 minute, 34 seconds in the bank.
They do get a map completion here with some time in the bank, so great for Vancouver, but they series. So you were able to get a good look at what the Titans were able to do and how they played in some of those close games. And I think Krusty and the Shock definitely put a ton of time in as well.
Sol Minsu, once again, would much prefer to enter these fights undetected, so the high ground is the play to go. Now, he won't get much done here, but he can keep repositioning. He's quite comfortable. It looks like the Shock are actually trying to bait aggression. They're not going to overcommit too much. Here's the rocket punch charged up, and in they go. Sinatra quickly repelled, quite the frosty reception, and he's going to get caught in midair by Sol Minsu. Now what for the Shock?
And if they can just keep Haksal alive, they'll get these types of plays and they'll get these types of fights pretty often, as they were trying to bait them out again. So at the beginning when we saw Sominsu teleport to the high ground, Hacksaw came down into the choke and he went with a rocket punch, and the Shock were waiting for that action again. They were waiting for Hacksaw to come in. They're like, hey, he's playing really aggressive. We can get a pick off onto him, move on forward, move onto the bridge. Sinatra goes in, he comes right back out. They're trying to bait Hacksaw in. He goes in, he gets low, they keep him alive. That allows Sominsu to teleport behind enemy lines, open it up.
As crazy as this meta is, one thing is for sure as a defending team. The enemy Doomfist is gonna try and get a quick kill. Coalescence starts the fight off this time though. The Shock want to try and make sure they have the healing available, but Hacksaw wants to drop in. It's onto the high ground. No kills from that one. It's just a repositioning ultimate, and it gets rid of Smurf though. It did force the Shock back, and now without a big shield to hide behind, things get a little bit riskier for San Francisco. They have to double down or get out. They cannot do both.
It was a nice boot from Moth. He actually knocked the Titans down from the high ground. They know how important it is. Go right up to the top as sound barrier comes in here from San Francisco.
Finally gets dropped down. Can he get away with the fade? He does, but Sinatra's already been removed with a Death Blossom. Sominsu strikes again. And those 3 kills will pacify San Francisco.
So you end up trading for the Shock your sound barrier for Supercharger, Death Blossom, Gravitic Flux there towards the end. Pretty decent trade for San Francisco. You'll take that because you're getting close to another Coalescence here. So you could trade out the Coalescence at the beginning of the fight, Coalescence for Coalescence, and then you have Meteor Strike plus Gravitic Flux to work with.
Smurf took a big hit there from Hacksaw as they approached. Coalescence has come out again. Sinatra again is the first casualty. The Titans look like they've got it figured out. Get rid of the Doomfist first, the rest will follow. Hacksaw is... but Tizzy is gone. The Titans don't have the main tank anymore, but they still seem happy enough to fight. Sominsu gets rid of Choikobin, but Smurf's set up on the point, and the Shock is starting to capture. Meteor Strike doesn't get Smurf, he's behind the shield, but the damage is done. Sinatra, what does he do here? Combines with Moth, they are outnumbered. Hacksaw was very low. Janu catches Sinatra as he tries to get away, and there's just 1 minute left now for San Francisco.
And the Shock wanted that fight bad. They knew they had all 4 members of the Titans weak. They are not able to capitalize on it though. Choyobin switched over to the Wrecking Ball just to try and get back, fight it, not able to make an impact though. So he's gonna go back to Sigma. As really, you're just going to have support ultimates for the Shock in what could be the final fight.
No, I mean, starting off with Coalescence definitely won't hurt them. The Titans don't seem all that close to their sound barrier. We'll see what Slime can do in the next few moments. Janu gonna have to retrieve his shield in just a moment. Another Gravitic Flux might be a good way to start the fight. No, here's the sound barrier. The drop comes in, but the Shock are unperturbed. Both support ultimates were used there, though. Now the Shock don't have anything left to work with, but it may not matter. Sinatra's gone down, but the Titans are in deep trouble. Striker set up on the point, waits for the kinetic grass to expire, and then gets the killing blow on Janu. Slime has to head for the hills. He'll hold on to that sound barrier because the Titans, they're gonna need it for point B.
And that's the difference. The sound barrier available for the Shock, but it will be the Shock taking point A. Not a ton of time to make it happen though.
No, only 3 minutes. The Titans had much more time to work with, so they could do some trial and error. The Shock are in a position now with this fight or the next one has to be gainful, has to give them the map completion, but they don't have key ultimates to work with right now. They might try and force the Titans to use some of their own, but really this fight, they're just gonna have to go in and get it done the old-fashioned way. But Hacksaw's down first. He will spawn close, so he'll be back in the fight in just a moment. But with Tizzy down, things start to get a little bit more nerve-wracking for the Titans, Matt.
And Tizzy died while he was placing the Supercharger down, so you don't get a use of it here for the Titans.
Accretion connects with Twilight. He gets absolutely rocked, and Hacksaw's down. Choikobin's found 2 with a Shock. They come out of nowhere. They bring no ultimates into this fight, and yet it still seems to be enough to get the job done against the Titans of all teams. That is ridiculous. A minute 34. So just over 90 seconds is what they have to attack with, but they don't change up their composition. Sinatra is on the Mei though, Matt. Why?
Which is really interesting because he does not really play Mei. Like Rascal is the Mei player for this team, trying to catch them off guard, and they do. They wall them off in the choke.
Oh man, you thought you'd get in. I'll tell you what. San Francisco, in the off-season, there'll be a security service. Look at this, and that stagger. That is disgusting. Sominsu couldn't get himself out of that one, and that's 30 seconds taken off the clock.
You play the Mei on defense, it's a little bit safer than the Doomfist. The Doomfist, you kind of have to go fishing with those rocket punches, seismic slams, trying to go in. Mei, you can play at the distance. Now this forces Vancouver to stay really grouped together, not get split off by the Mei walls.
A Blizzard for Sinatra for the next fight, that would be perfect. The Titans, though, they've got something to work with. The Coalescence here. Violet doesn't have his yet, and Smurf's in a little bit of trouble around the corner. They're trying to keep him healed up. Here's the Shock's Coalescence, but the Titans are on the point. They're set up. It's up to the Shock now to get rid of them. Haxel tries to charge on in. That is a huge uppercut with 3 players, but it's going to take a little bit more than that. Trickoven slightly out of position. He's knocked up against the wall by Haxel, and Solminsu almost has that Death Blossom, and he brings it down. The Titans get what they came for, and they're still in this.
So they get the point A take. 40 seconds to make something happen on point B here. You could use Meteor Strike, Haxel's ultimate, in combination with a halt. Maybe Gravitic Flux, put them all in the sky, then land that Meteor Strike. But you see the Mei wall again coming up clutch.
And a Blizzard to follow up here. Haxel was lucky that he careened over the top of it, but he needs to enter the dome to get damage done. Johnny's frozen solid, but Solminsu's already been removed from the pack. Haxel with a Meteor Strike, but Smurf definitely gets on the other side of his barrier. He avoids the radiating damage, but he's still removed by Tizzy. Trickoven trying to hold down the 40, gets rid of Haxel. That's a lot of the damage with the Vancouver Titans taking off the plate. Tizzy is brought down. Coalescence over the fight for Violet, and that's all the healing you're gonna need. And he is in dire straits. San Francisco shut the door on the Titans on point B to establish a potential win condition.
Progress on.
No, that would be a disaster. So they defend here on the Temple of Anubis to try and take the map. San Francisco out of the gates with a standard composition. No bells or whistles.
And 2 minutes is not a lot of time for the Shock. You know, you're really looking at like 3 fights here at best, depending on how they go.
And the Shock had like multiple false starts on their attack trying to get to point A, Matt. They lost Sinatra multiple times.
Violet's almost at a Coalescence here.
This has to be perfect for the Shock. They need to get an early kill. Here's the Coalescence. He is doubly as fast as Twilight getting the Coalescence, and Striker gets in there. I guess Reaper does strike it twice. Johnny when Tizzy are down, Slime gets bowled over, and the San Francisco Shock, they push on a point A on the first attack. And Violet, a speed demon when it comes to Ultimate Generation.
And they farm that Coalescence off of the damage that Janu is putting down. Janu on Sigma for the Titans, throwing all of his primary fires into the choke. They do an AoE splash. Moth sits on speed. They don't go anywhere. Allow Violet to farm all of that ultimate charge with healing a Moira.
Still a tough job here for the Shock. The Titans have the Coalescence coming up soon. They should be able to shut the Shock down. Sinatra trying to go in, gets in the back line. Seismic Slam does connect, but where are the kills? Twilight, Coalescence is out. Johnny's like, Tizzy's down! They get rid of the main tank here, but Sinatra loses his life in the process. Is this enough for the Shock to be going on with? No, the Titans set their feet.
Can the Titans hold, though? See that golden checkpoint at the top of the screen? That is only where the Shock need to get in terms of point B take.
33%.
To put themselves on match point. As now they're going to come in the Shock. Look at this, Mitch, with both support ults to get all of your ultimates here. Big ultimate advantage for the Shock early on.
Should see at least 11 ultimate abilities, maybe even 12. Sinatra goes in early. Look at the disruption in the back line. Meteor Strike, he gets rid of the supercharger, and Slime is down. The Lucio is missing. Violet gets himself another one, and Sinatra's far from done. They get rid of Twilight in the offside room, and the San Francisco Shock. Match point, baby. Death Blossom, Solminsu comes in with a Wraith Walk just to stall it out. He goes down. The Wrecking Ball now going to try and drop in, and Slime desperately. It's not enough.
Like, who is this guy and how is he dominating so hard?
There's so much hype around this player right now. There's so much discussion.
This may be the rivalry that we all should be looking towards. It's all about the Doomfist.
Well, if you've been wondering when the 11th hour is, you look at this head-to-head between Doomfist players. It's 0-3. We're heading to Gibraltar. Cisco, Matt, if they come out of here with a Batiste from off, they have almost 70% win rate on team fights in which a Batiste on their side participates. Yeah. And a Bastion too.
And that is in the playoffs. So on Escort, unlike Hybrid, you do not have to unlock the payload. You start with the payload in your possession as the Sominsu opens it up with a kill onto Rascal. Also the Immortality field going down, so Architect will drop as to be a fight win for Vancouver, but you also see at the top of your screen the little checkpoints earning permanent progress and time extensions if you can get the payload there.
Great start by Seoul Min Soo. Again, you can always get a barometer for the Titans' level of aggression by whether he has teleported into the back line. He actually sneaks behind, or at least he sets up behind the shot, picks Rascal off first. There's not going to be any wall, none of that business to try and keep Architect safe.
Yeah, and the Titans, they can have a little bit of a defensive advantage here, knowing that they want to get that Bastion set up on the cart. They can just contest the cart and move forward. Get this Bastion open space.
Go straight on in there, Mott's in trouble. Immortality Field is thrown down, and that gives the Shock enough time to respond to Seoul Min Soo's presence. He is forced to run away now, or at least play back behind his front line, but he's frozen solid. Architect already cut through Janu. It's go time for the Reaper, but Mott just jumps out the way. Exo Boot saved the Batiste, but not Smurf. Death Blossom for Seoul Min Soo, but he gets frozen solid midway through it. Rascal had his number. Haxal drops in and he gets the Immortality Field, but he needs more than that. Violet fades away to stay safe from the Doomfist, and Haxal is felled.
They clean up Twilight, now they'll get the cart rolling. So this is where it'll be difficult for the Titans. Getting this Bastion off of the payload with 2 shields. So Sigma and Orisa, both shield tanks, able to defend every angle that you could attack this Bastion with long-range fire. So you're going to see them try and play that close-up game. They're going to have Haxal go over to Mei.
The silver lining is that the Titans forced the Shock to use some of those ultimates right outside their own spawn. They're making them pay dearly for every inch of progress, but Tizzy walks straight into that one. There was an amplification matrix, and Architect made short work of the main tank. Slime and Twilight fare no better than Seoul Min Soo. Well, he couldn't even run away from that one. He was frozen stiff.
And you know, it's just it's not a good Mei wall that comes in from Haxal. He's trying to knock the Bastion up in the sky. One, the Mei wall comes so early, as some players spawning up forward here for the Titans. The Mei wall comes so early, and it doesn't even get him. So they know the Mei wall's on cooldown. What happens as soon as that Mei wall comes down? Amp Matrix from Moth, the Bastion puts down more damage. They take out Tizzy, nothing Vancouver can do.
How did the Shock force Architect out of position here, Matt? That's what you mentioned that before, you know, you force a Bastion to rotate. How do you stop him here?
Oh, well, you know, they're trying to access the high ground here, but you see Rascal gets aggressive. He has a Mei wall. This forces the Titans to the low ground. What can they do from here to access this Bastion? The Bastion not going to have to move.
They open with the Blizzard. Janu again is frozen. Rascal just waits for the wall to drop down, but the Shock haven't really had to use too much in the way of big ultimates here. That Blizzard pretty much sealed the fight for them there and then.
And we have seen the Titans struggle against Bastion comps throughout the playoffs. Especially like Farah Bastion, when they would match it on a map like Rialto, another escort map in the pool. They were not great at breaking it. They lose that map to the LA Gladiators. And you can see they have not adjusted well to try and break it, even with some time off.
The Titans have to use Haxal on Mei now. There's no other option, and he has to make the same impact on that hero. It's not quite the same thing. Blizzard, Gravitic Flux, everything you could ask for. The Shock are delivering in spades, and those hyperspheres are bouncing. And so are the Titans' craniums.
And that'll be the second checkpoint here on Gibraltar. So just one more checkpoint here from B to C to get a map completion for the Shock.
They have so much time. Gibraltar is a long map, Matt.
And this corner is going to be huge. This first corner, they're going to try and go up to the high ground here, the Shock. The Titans, they need to fight this. If you get around this corner, it's going to be very difficult to hold on defense here for the Titans.
Architects playing right in the corner, making sure his teammates can see him, provide him shielding, and give the healing. Seoul Min Soo trying to push up to the payload, but Rascal was there to meet them. He's sitting there like a safety mat, just trying to make sure no one can get to the payload itself. Axar was taken down early, but Janu and Seoul Min Soo were able to find the real damage dealers, and a Death Blossom pays off here for Seoul Min Soo.
Maybe thinking you can get the Titans to invest a little bit more, maybe end up using a Gravitic Flux, case of like an emergency scenario, but here this next fight, Mitch, you're gonna have the tank configuration mode for Architect. Bastion turns into a tank, puts down even more damage. Amp Matrix available, and potentially a Supercharger.
Johnny's trying to start the fight off there with a Gravitic Flux. Look, they can't benefit from the Amplification Matrix until they're dropped down. Mob's Immortality Field did keep them alive when they hit the ground, but it's no more in the fight. Architect gets no value out of his tank mode. Matt, as much as you talked it up, there was a wall in his way. Tizzy's on the right-hand side, and he doesn't want to peek out, but this payload will eventually leave the Titans behind. Seoul Min Soo, he's down. The Reaper for the Vancouver Titans is missing, and Haxal wasn't far behind him. Who's going to do the damage now without those two in play? And the answer Rascal puts him on ice. Slime is down, Rascal put to sleep, but Twilight can't even get out to the payload to touch it. Solminsu's gonna make a difference, but it's Blizzard. It's a winter wonderland, and the Shock are happier than ever. The Vancouver Titans, though, they have gone looking for a map win. Just one right now would be good.
Also, you only have like two staircases. That has to be careful though that somebody like Solminsu doesn't go into spawn, pulls out a Widowmaker.
Vancouver have got to finish this map. And with some time in the bank, that would help. San Francisco Shock are on the precipice of the 2019 Overwatch League Championship, and they can't give it away so easy. Johnny's trying to play up the stairs on the right-hand side here. He can look after himself, so this is not overly risky. If he can put some pressure on Shrikoben and maybe allow his team, but look, the Titans again have left Twilight on his own. They trust him to go in the 1v1, but Rascal doesn't get hit by the Bardic Grenade this time, and he punishes the Ana.
And I don't think you're going to be able to just rely on Twilight to take him out. And the issue is you don't want to switch off any of the other heroes you're running. It's a really difficult predicament that the Titans are in, because now that this payload's moved around the corner, they need to really fight this high ground. There's no great angle for it, though. Why
do the Titans want to play anything but Ana here, Matt? It seems like that's all they want to do on these attacking rounds.
I know they've been connecting with a lot of sleep darts when they have been playing the Ana, so the sleep dart really good. You know, put somebody to permanently asleep. That'll be a barrage from Rascal, who connects with two.
Oh, he got... Johnny tried to protect his team. He sent out the experimental barrier, but the barrage is just way too much damage, and Rascal was inside an immortality field, Matt.
And on a hybrid style map like Eichenwald, which we saw earlier in the series, you can play this if you're the Titans, because the Shock have to come and fight on the point, right? There is a point, there's a neutral objective on the map. So on the Escort, it changes the game completely, though, because the objective is constantly moving. So now it puts the Bastion in a better setup in some of the certain situations on the map.
So what do Vancouver do here? They nano boost Solminsu, they coalescence.
Is that it? Get him into the back line. That's probably the best chance you got.
Twilight had to use a Biotic Grenade there defensively. So much damage coming in from Rascal, but he's playing a dangerous game. They keep him alive, and here comes the coalescence. Slime just going to use it right now defensively. They need the healing. Amplification Matrix, though, makes Architect a killing machine. Well, I mean, he already is a killing machine, but even more so than he was before. And look at him. He can just rotate. He can make sure wherever he's standing, he can see Vancouver players. But Solminsu tries to accost him and can't finish the job.
I mean, he just comes in too late. And with the composition the Titans are running, the Shock know if we just deal with Solminsu, nobody else is accessing the high ground here. That's all we have to do is deal with Solminsu. As soon as he comes in, immortality field, he has to Wraith walk out, you can get nothing.
This could be the last 90 seconds of Vancouver's season. I mean, these two teams have been head-to-head and neck in so many metrics. To fall here for the Titans, it's a long way from their expectations. The Shock look dominant, but the Titans, they've got to break through. They need that time extension, Matt.
And to fall in this fashion in 4-0 in the finals, be a real long offseason for Vancouver.
Oh, man. Rascal will play from the high ground here. Another barrage is available, and look at the pressure he's putting on Haxal. Knocking him out of it, and there it is, Tizzy blown up. Sleep Dart comes in, but not before they get the main tank. Rascal's able to take to the sky once more, staying safe. Architect sits in the back in tank mode, and the Titans have to split.
They have to back out. The Supercharger comes down as well,
Johnny's out of position.
As well.
Johnny doesn't want to be here, but a great Sleep Dart from Twilight might have saved his team. Johnny was able to stay alive. Architect can't finish him, and here's a Gravitic Flux. Architect got out of it. It's a 1v1 Gravitic Flux. Architect tries to get away while healing, but Solminsu chases him down. It was Johnny that actually got him. Final of the high ground, and in the last few moments, the Titans were able to win the fight. Smurf will stall for as long as he can. But Vancouver look good for this first checkpoint, Matt.
I don't think the Shock can fight it. I think they have to give it up. With the way you see players coming out of the spawn, they're going to back out. So Rascal makes a switch over to the Mei. That also has Moth switch over to the Ana, which this is really where you see how Moth shines, right? Usually, you can play the Baptiste, you can play Lucio, Mercy, Ana, like, you can play every support in the book.
Oh, that's nasty.
Concretion there.
The Vancouver Titans clear the first hurdle in this last map. They get that first checkpoint, and they snowball. They punish some bad spawns from the Shock, so now they're actually building up a little bit of a head of steam. Can they finish the job and get to the last phase of the map? Point B is coming up.
They do waste a ton of time, though. They only finish it with 20 seconds left, so their time extension does not have a huge amount of time. They have to win this next fight.
Troikoben is a sentinel for Architect here, making sure that the shield is redeployed when the wall disappears, so his Bastion stays protected. Gravitic Flux is online for Troikoben, and he's looking for the source of the damage he was taking. It was a biotic orb from Slime, thrown at long range, but behind him he heard him. Sol Min-soo tried to sneak in, but they kept him out of the cookie jar for now.
For now, they know he's lower and behind them. It's a halt that comes in from Smurf.
Hacksaul's Blizzard
Troikoben eating Hacksaul's Blizzard.
Still, Sol Min-soo's able to get in and get rid of Troikoben and Moth. A lot of healing gone, but the Bastion still lives. But he's sleeping. Architect, not a time to catch some Z's at all. Cucumber slices on his eyes and all, and Sol Min-soo will punish. Another checkpoint.
This will be checkpoint B for the Vancouver Titans. Players jumping off the side for the shock. They do not want that forward spawn. A few of them, well, they're going to get staggered here. It's
not good.
Titans are starting to roll now.
2 minutes, 23 seconds on the clock. The Titans are unlikely to finish the map with more time than San Francisco, but they just need to finish it at this stage. That's all. Sol Min-soo is close to this Death Blossom, but there's not going to be much action for him for the time being. The Shock are playing for what looks like a final point hold.
The final point here is going to be very difficult with that Bastion being able to lay fire in the open field. That'll be a Gravitic Flux here early.
Johnny frozen. He's too far forward. He can't eat up the freeze, and Rascal's going to finish him off. Moth threw out the immortality field there, but it did what it needed it to. Sol Min-soo again tried to go in. The Blizzard, this one doesn't look too bad at all. Architect is frozen, but there's shielding in front of him. He's kept safe in the backline. Yes, he doesn't get as much ultimate time, but it doesn't matter. He's going to come back, and the rest of his team has stood tall in his absence. And Vancouver are now down to 1 minute and 30 seconds. Again, that magic 90 seconds. Potentially their last.
And we knew how important that fight was. Vancouver as well. They dump most of their ultimates into it, as they know they have to get around this corner. They have to get the Bastion out. They're not able to win it. Now look at all the ultimates the Shock has to work with.
Janu looking for something. He stayed ahead of the rest of his team. A play that could have been considered risky by some. Oh, that's filthy. High ground set up here for the Shock, but they've lost Moth already, so no immortality field. Sol Min-soo's hit with an accretion and forced a Wraithwalk back to his team, but Architect is in position. He's ready to rumble, and Sol Min-soo decimated as he's held aloft with the Gravitic Flux. Inside of 1 minute left, and Vancouver have to quickly get out of dodge and reset. They may only have one more chance at glory, one more chance at getting at least a map in this series.
And that's why you see Architect playing in this background. When the Maywall came in, he was able to use it to kind of get up here, and now you're able to put Moth back there as well. Immortality field up there. You're going to have an Ant Matrix here. Could be the game winner.
Johnny here with a biotic grenade and forced to think twice. This is it. The Vancouver Titans must finish this map to stay in the series. The Shock, it's 3 already, and they're looking for their last to shut out the Vancouver Titans. Such a hyped up team coming from across the ocean. Tizzy is down already though. They've lost their main tank, and Architect is bringing the thunder from the back. It's a rain of bullets, and the Titans can't do a thing about it. Only a few seconds left. Sol Min-soo is removed from the face of the map, and Architect is time to get his hands dirty. Hacksaul throws a Blizzard down, but it's not enough. Twilight, the last hope for the Titans, steps up. He is felled. Tizzy now gets to the point, but Slime is already removed from the fight. The Wrecking Ball is down, and Janu, he can't touch. He is walled off. The door is shut in their face. A golden stage! And finally, a golden crown! The San Francisco Shock are the 2019 Overwatch League champion!
Jeff Kaplan to the stage.
The San Francisco Shock proved that they are the absolute best in the world. The trophy is yours. Go get it.
To award your T-Mobile MVP, your most valuable player, it is Choi Hyobin!
Congratulations on your MVP win.
The world could always use more heroes.